This is how you can dial any high gain guitar tone in 5 minutes starting. Before we start the timer, we're using the brand new Soldano X plugin from Newer DSP, although you don't need to use this plugin, just take the methods and the approaches that I'm using in this video and use it across any plugin or any amp that you like. Now, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click the Soldano logo and change the skin because obviously purple sounds the best, right? Then we're going to dial in, I guess, the feel of the tone. That's the thing that I like to dial in first. So things like, noise gates, overdrives, the gain of the amp, etc. So let's go to the pre-effects section and click the second overdrive because I like how it's got a switch for like an upper range bump, upper mid-range, sorry, I should say. Drive all the way down, level at about 7 or 8, and then 7, 8 on the tone as well. Versus the stock tone. They're definitely much more pronounced and much tighter in the low end. Going to the amp, so we'll have a look at the gain. Now, the way that I like to dial in the gain is that I want it to kind of bloom over to the next palm mute, just like this. I want to do it as little as I can get away with. If it's too low, it doesn't kind of carry over, and I find that this is a really good middle ground. So let's try it about 5.5. Perfect, right? Master, I'm going to leave. If I turn the master knob up, it's going to increase the power amp saturation and get the tone a little bit more compressed and a little bit more hotter. That's not what I want. I like a very sterile tone with lots of articulation when I'm playing, so I'm going to leave that the way it is. Presence and depth, right? We'll leave presence at 7. That's sounding fine. Depth. Getting our gauges, I think 6 would be good. And I'm going to turn bass, middle, and treble at 5. I'm not going to touch them until the very end because majority of the tone will come from the cabinet section, right? So let's start with the 57. I'm going to put it all the way on the middle speaker and move out until I kind of get rid of those whistly frequencies. About there, right? Then I'm going to add in my second microphone and we'll kind of cycle through them and see which one we like. Very mid forward, that one. That one sounds not too bad, actually. Lots of subby low end in that one. I like the 1-2-1, so let's stick with that one, right? What I'm going to do though is I'm going to turn this down by 4 dB so that the 57 is doing majority of the work, and then to compensate the volume loss, I'm going to put this up a couple dB as well. Same thing with this microphone, right? Sounding really good, right? So I'm going to leave that the way it is. Let's go back to the amp and now dial in the amp. So bass. I'm going to put bass at around 5.5. Mids. I like a slightly scooped mid sound, so I'm going to put it down just above 4, and then treble. It can get really bright. Let's put it just below 7, right? Nice. So I guess the last step, we'll turn off the post effects because we don't need any of them. Let's look at the EQ. So again, I want to view this as an extension of the tone rather than trying to like mix the tone and stuff like that. So, I'm going to be pretty conservative with the things that we're going to be doing in this EQ. So low cut at about 30, I want to say, and then maybe like a high cut at around 13K, just above. There's a lot of like this going on, that kind of like nasally 1K region, so I'm going to turn that down by a dB. Let's have a look at getting some more clarity out of this tone. So 250 down by 1 dB. And then that kind of like boxy 500 range, I'm going to put down half a dB, or yeah, just about. 4K I'm going to leave. And we're just going to get a little bit more sheen. I'm going to put up 8K, like that airy top end at about half a dB. Versus off. So again, it's a super subtle difference, but I find that you get just a little bit more articulation, and you can kind of tell, especially on low notes, kind of get a little bit more punch out of it as well. But yeah, that's it. That's the tone. Peace.